When I watched Canvas Samuels in the beginning and he was speaking truth to women, I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, it's the truth. Okay, it hurts. Okay, who cares? It's still the truth, or there's some truth in there, right? Well, as he started to become popular, outside of just him saying a lot of things that were necessarily redundant, there became a time where he became derogatory. It was no longer just the truth. This is Charae B Chicago Podcast, and I am your host, Charae. As humans, there are many layers to us, and life has a way of adding to those layers. Here we talk about the basics, our roots. What are your roots, and your reason for what you do and why you do what you do? Is it your family, your birthland, or perhaps your faith? Whatever it is, let's talk about it. And remember to stay rooted. What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your girl, Charae, here on the Charae B Chicago Podcast, and I'm here with another episode. And in this episode, we're going to talk about God in a way that, I don't know, let's just see how the Spirit leads us today. The first thing that comes to my mind and is pressed in my heart today is God knows my heart. That's a phrase that I'm used to hearing all the time. Whenever somebody feels that they know God, or they know how God is working with them, or if they've done something, or they feel that there's something that they may need work on, or whatever the case is, the first thing they say is, God knows my heart. Which is true. The Bible teaches us that as well, that God knows our heart. And I think that that's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing that God knows our heart. He ultimately knows who we are, how we tick, what makes us happy, what makes us sad, the things that will ultimately bring us joy, what we are on earth to do, what we are led to do or supposed to do, our purpose. He knows all of that because he created us. So, of course, the Creator knows what the creation is supposed to do. So, in retrospect, of course, God knows our hearts. I know there's been times where I've had issues with trying to understand what exactly I was meant to do in this world, because I have so many talents. Like, I know how to draw. I'm good at writing poetry. I know how to rap. And I think later in life, I learned that I like to talk. So that's where radio came into play. That was, thank God for my mom. She's the one that really planted the seed for radio, which led to podcasting. So really have to thank God for my mom for that one. And I think that me going through all those different experiences of talents and learning whether or not I'm supposed to do them or use them has really brought me in different stages and different arenas. I have met many people, been around many people, dated many people. My experience of being in different corners and walks of this earth has been because I have the gift or the ability of using my voice. I have the ability to know how to draw, to know how to rap, to know how to write poetry. And my artistic self has been very creative with my life. And it has also caused me to have a lack of direction. It's like there's so many things that are pressed in our hearts by God, and a lot of talents and abilities that have been created within us by God, that sometimes you really can sit around and not be sure of which direction to go when it comes to those things. Luckily, we can ask God in which way we should or which way we can go. His leadership is unlike anyone else's. It's really one of those things where you just have to realize that coming to him is the best decision. I remember hearing someone say, and his face is in front of me, but his name is not, it's not coming up. I just remember his last name is Thompson. He said that whenever something is going on or something is off, he goes to the Creator. Like if you were to go to the manufacturer of your car, the car that you have a issue with. If something's wrong with your car, you have a Cadillac, you go to the Cadillac dealership. You have a Hyundai, you go to the Hyundai dealership. You have a Ford, you go to the Ford dealership. If you buy a car, depending on, if it's new or used or wherever you went to, you go back to the manufacturer. So that's the same when it comes to us individually. You go to the manufacturer, you go to the creator, and the creator knows what makes you tick because he created it. He knows the parts. He knows what makes you run your best, what things may need to be fixed, what things may need to be changed, when things may need to be better, oiled, or whatever the case is. He knows. No one else knows. So that's why the phrase, Jesus knows my heart, or God knows my heart, is such a really a used term. I think, and we use it a lot. I think sometimes, though, some phrases and some terms, a lot of these terms are used loosely. We loosely say, Jesus or God knows my heart. And I really would like for us to challenge ourselves on whether or not when we say those things, are we choosing to say them because we are making a choice to deal with it as if just because God knows our heart and it's something that we did that is something we should accept, or because God knows our heart and it's something that we did that we know isn't our best selves, that maybe we should go to him because he knows it, because he knows where it comes from, because he knows why you do those particular things, that he can change your heart or your mind about that particular thing. Like, yes, God knows your heart. So wouldn't he be the one that knows how to change it? Wouldn't he be the one that knows how to fix that very thing that you have inside of you that you know is wrong? I think we use that term a lot, and I've heard it used a lot. Maybe I've never got the chance to hear it where somebody use it and it's not used because it's something wrong. However, I've encountered people saying that because they've done something that they know is wrong. Like, God knows my heart. Okay. Now, would you want to go to God and say, oh, I know I did that wrong, but it's whatever? Do you want to say that to God? Like, that's what we're saying when we're saying to someone else, God knows my heart. Like, I did what I did, but it's whatever. Do you want to say that to God? Would you want to go to him and say, yeah, okay, so what? I said something bad or negative towards you. God knows my heart. Meaning, like, okay, he knows my intentions or why I did what I did. Yeah. But can we show our intentions in a healthy way? Let's say you do tell someone the truth, something they may need to hear. The Bible does teaches us loving someone is telling them the truth. But sometimes that truth does hurt. Truth hurts. But the Bible also teaches to be in an act of meekness. So if you were to be in an act of meekness, then wouldn't that truth come in a form that wouldn't make somebody go, maybe just to hear the truth would make them go, wow, okay, that's the truth. That hurt, but it's the truth. What am I supposed to say or do other than just change it if I really want to change it? Or if you tell somebody the truth and you say it in such a demeaning way that it makes them go, they don't want to hear it because of how you said it. Like, so many of us are willing to just be a truth teller or be someone to say whatever we feel or think without thinking about the consequences of how that phrase or term is being used. Like, I'm going to use somebody, for example, someone I used to watch until I stopped watching them because their experience, the way they did the thing no longer seemed like it came from a place of purity anymore. And that's Kevin Samuels. When I watched Kevin Samuels in the beginning and he was speaking truth to women, I didn't think anything of it. It was just like, it's the truth. Okay, it hurts. Okay, who cares? It's still the truth, or there's some truth in there, right? Well, as he started to become popular, outside of just him saying a lot of things that were necessarily redundant, there became a time where he became derogatory. It was no longer just the truth. He had these terms like, oh, Big Shirley, or these danger zone clips and all these sound bites that he would use. It became now a show. It became a way to just humiliate women instead of just telling them the truth. I had to stop watching him because now it didn't seem like it was like a truth teller anymore. It didn't feel like, ouch, okay, that's the truth, but it is what it is. It felt like, I'm going to humiliate you because you're so stupid. That's not a good way to tell someone the truth. You don't tell someone the truth and tell them that they're stupid at the same time. You can tell someone the truth and lead them to another experience, lead them to a better experience and a better way of thinking instead of humiliating them. Enjoying the content? Well, we really appreciate you being here. Your viewership matters to us. That's why we ask for you to like the video if this show has brought you any joy, excitement, and/or inspiration. And if you really would like to help and bear witness to the growth of the channel, subscribe. We really love your engagement. It helps us to stay motivated, knowing that you are getting what you need from us, makes us eager to offer you more, while we have faith that there will be. Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. I really just wanted to use him as an example because he was someone who I watched or listened to for only a certain period of time, again, because it became now humiliating. I think that because people can't separate certain things or know how to look at certain things a certain way, that they are so much stuck on just what they see. So we saw certain things and it made you think certain things. However, you can see something, observe something, and still get something out of it. However, the responsibility is still on the deliverer to do it out of love. The act of truth is still love. The delivery, the meekness is still a form of love. God knows your heart, meaning he knows how you are operating. If you are dealing or if you are moving out of love, or if you are choosing to be ignorant to how you are being received or how you are moving in this world. God wants us to love ourselves. He also wants us to love other people correctly through him. I think so many of us, we understand that we were created in the image of God. A lot of us forget that the people we interact as well are created by God. No matter how much you may dislike somebody, no matter how much you care about somebody, because sometimes you have people who you care about and they show their faults. We all are created in God's image. So you treat each other the same way you will want to treat yourself. Some people don't know how to treat people a certain way because they don't know how to treat themselves. Some people know how to treat themselves and forget about the people that they're supposed to treat with that same kind of love and respect. It's a push and pull. It's a relationship. You have a relationship with God that helps you have a relationship with yourself so that you can have a great relationship with other people. They all connect. They all have their purposes. They all have their reasons. They all are expected to have this particular thing that is meant to be beautiful. Like God has his purposes for each and every person. Even if we don't understand what it is, he knows. Again, back to the creator, knowing the reason for its creation. And we may not understand in the midst of the time. However, it is our job to acknowledge that it is all up to him at the end of the day. That's it. We have no say-so. So think about it. Think about how you can create something for yourself and for other people so that when not only God will know your heart, but the people who are in your life can receive your heart. And you don't have to use the phrase, God knows my heart anymore, because he's not the only one that should see it. People should be able to see your heart. Don't exclude people from seeing your heart. Don't push them away from seeing your heart. Don't make them think about whether or not they want you around them because of the way you have expressed yourself. Like, you don't want to have to tell somebody God knows my heart. You don't want to make that a force. Like, God knows my heart. No. Why do I not deserve your heart? If I don't deserve your heart, then that means I don't deserve to be in your presence. Which meaning I don't deserve to be in your presence mean you don't push yourself to be in a position to be ignorant, to be mean, to be foul. Why push yourself to be in that position? Why even do that? Why would you even want to be the kind of person that makes somebody, oh, that's just who they are. That's how you are. You know how she is. You know how he do all the time. You will want somebody to go, yeah, go ahead and go to that person. They're best for that. Let me contact this person. They can lead you to that. That's how you would desire somebody to talk about you when you're not around. Now, you got some people who are just negative, period. And you really just have to pray for them. And you may just have to stay away from that particular person because they really don't know how to act in a godly manner. And that's a form of love as well. Because if they were ever to come to you, like, I can't necessarily be myself around you. That would be something you would want to say. I can't necessarily be around you or be myself around you because whenever I experience being in your presence, you make me feel or you do these particular things that turn me off. That's okay. That's the truth. And that's an act of love by letting someone know why no one else wants to be around them. Iron sharpening iron. What iron are you sharpening by telling somebody that God knows your heart rather than just showing them your heart? What act of godly presence are you doing by just telling than showing? God knows my heart. Absolutely. I want you to know my heart as well. I want you to experience my heart as well. I want you to feel the love that I have for God, myself, and you. I want you to experience the best version of me. I want you to be able to go to other people, and when you say my name, it's in a beautiful way. Think about it. I never met Aaliyah, but the way everybody talked about Aaliyah, what? I wish I did. That's the kind of thing that you will want, that you should desire for people to experience you. And for anybody who may be thinking, I don't care what people think about me, you shouldn't think about how people think about you in a sense of changing your godly ways. No, you shouldn't. But the way that you love through God, from God and his ways, Christ, think about it. Christ was crucified because people didn't experience him or know how to experience him in the way of who he was while he walked this earth. But he died with us glorifying him and praising him and wanting to be like him because he stayed true to being a God man and honoring the Father. That's how he walked this earth. That's the example of which we should desire to be like. No, Jesus did not care in a sense of whether or not you cared about the godly things that he did. He was very aware that people were not going to believe him or believe in him. He was very aware that he honored the Father. How is God? How is your experience with God? Is God okay with what you are doing? Is God okay with how you are treating his people? Is God okay with it? That's the question you should ask yourself. Is God pleased with this? Am I walking Christ-like? Am I experiencing life through his eyes the best way I can for him? Because it doesn't matter if I know that God knows my heart. It's whether or not I'm willing to allow him to change it. That's what ultimately matters. Am I willing to allow him to change my heart, to renew my mind, to give me an experience of becoming a better, godly, in the God's image way? Am I willing to do that? Am I willing to kill the old me and bring forth the new me? Y'all know what time it is. It is time for a Bible verse. And today's Bible verse is Romans chapter 12, verse 2. But be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good, acceptable, and perfect will of God. Oh yes, allow God to renew your mind, change your mind, so that he can also change your heart. He knows your heart. He speaks of meeting you where you are, but you got to be willing to allow him to change it. Don't just accept those things that are not godly, that are in your heart and in your mind. Be willing to allow him to change them so that you can be acceptable and perfect in the will of God. Amen. All right, y'all. Y'all go ahead and stay blessed. Enjoy tuning in to the Charae B Chicago Podcast? Well, be sure to share us with your friends through any of our other platforms: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, or Apple Podcasts. We appreciate your time. Stay blessed. Y'all know what time it is. It is time for a Bible verse. And today's Bible verse is Romans chapter 12, verse 2. But be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good, acceptable, and perfect will of God. Oh yes, allow God to renew your mind, change your mind, so that he can also change your heart. He knows your heart. He speaks of meeting you where you are, but you got to be willing to allow him to change it. Don't just accept those things that are not godly, that are in your heart and in your mind. Be willing to allow him to change them so that you can be acceptable and perfect in the will of God. Amen. All right, y'all. Y'all go ahead and stay blessed. Enjoy tuning in to the Charae B Chicago Podcast? Well, be sure to share us with your friends through any of our other platforms: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, or Apple Podcasts. We appreciate your time. Stay blessed.